Hey everyone, you're here. It's I was going to say it's the Magic and the Law of Attraction podcast. No, it's not. This is not a podcast. This is the live Magic Q&A tea party. I have everything with really long names, and those names get confused. What can I say? This is the live Magic Q&A tea party with me, Madame Pamita, and we meet here every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can meet us anywhere in the world, but I'm not going to give all the time zones for the whole world. You're going to have to do your own research if you're outside of the United States. Sorry, people in other parts of the world. Anyway, we do this as a live free Zoom meeting every week, and we would love for you to join us live. If you want to join us live, if you're watching this on YouTube or seeing this somewhere out in the world that's not live with us here, we would love to have you in the clubhouse. It doesn't cost anything to join. You just have to be a member of the Spell Squad. And to do that, all you have to do is go to spellsquad.com. It's spellsquad.com and sign up to be on my email list, and you will get an email with the link to join us on Zoom, and you could be here with us live, which would be so much fun. We would love to have you. We have a great group of people here. Lots of people come back every week. It's so much fun. We have a great time. Also, when you sign up for the Spell Squad, you get a free copy of my book, 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work. God, I can't talk today. 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work. It is a book, an ebook that you can get free when you join up and you sign up for my email list. So you'll get a ticket. Take advantage of both of those things. They're both free. They're both a gift that I give from my heart to you. So who am I? I'm Madame Pamita. I am, if you're wondering who I am the owner of the Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. I also have a YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/Madame Pamita. I've got a ton of videos up there telling you how to do spell work, tarot tips, and all kinds of things up there, including these videos that we're doing here today, these live Q&A videos. I have a podcast that's bubbling up to come back, and that is the Magic and the Law of Attraction podcast that I accidentally said at the beginning of the show. That's a podcast that teaches you about magic and law of attraction and how those things work together. It's a fun podcast. You want to listen to that, and new episodes are going to be coming, so podcast fans, be excited. Anyway, keep your things on mute, please, guys. What else do you need to know? I think that's it. Well, let me tell you about my guest. Since I've talked enough about me and what's going on, my guest is Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is an amazing tarot reader. She's designed a beautiful tarot deck. She's working on one that she's been working on for a while that I probably can't talk about because it's a secret. But she does have one that she's been working. Can we talk about it? We'll talk about it in a second. Let me introduce you, and then we're going to find out all that you're doing. She knows all about divination. She's an amazing diviner, astrologer. She's a fabulous human being, and she's an amazing creator. And so without further ado, here's Gwendolyn. Say hello, everyone. Say hello to everyone, Gwendolyn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gwendolyn, and I do astrology, numerology, cards of destiny, love cards, and tarot readings. That's my main focus, and I have clients all over, mostly US, but some internationals as well. And I have a YouTube channel, website. I post a card of the day, a daily tarot card on Instagram. You can find that at Readings by Gwendolyn on Instagram. And I'm just finishing up a tarot deck that I just made. It's called Tarot of Flowers. And I'm hoping to release it this week. So if you are interested, I'll have a link to that. And Madame Pamita was talking about a tarot deck I've been working on forever. It's the old Hollywood tarot deck. That's going to be coming up sometime soon. That's another baby project of mine I'm super excited about. But Tarot of Flowers is coming out now. And if any of you are interested, you can check it out at tarotofflowers.com. And I'm super excited.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You are such a beautiful and amazing creator. I want you to tell them a little bit about repeat it again slowly for us slow people here, me. You do tarot. You do cards of destiny. That's the thing. tell them what cards of destiny are.
Sure,
I don't
yeah,
know what that is.
it's called Cards of Destiny. It's also known as Science of the Cards, and it was developed by Robert Olney in the 1800s. There's actually a grid on my website, readingsbygwendolyn.com, if you want to look up what your birth card is. It was originally developed by the playing cards. So each of us have a playing card that's assigned to us for our by our birth date. It's not dependent upon year, just upon day and month. And then we also have lots of different planetary configurations that correspond to different cards, and it can tell us or inform us about our dynamics with other people. So like there are sun, moon, and connections. There's a lot of ties to astrology with it. There's sun, moon connections, Venus connections, Mars connections. Venus connections will be like love connections or pleasure connections. Mars connections will be passionate but competitive. They take on the same flavor and dynamic as the planets that represent them. So it's just a trove of information about what's going on with us, who we are, how we represent to the world, and how we interact with other people.
And you're an astrologer too. And I think you're the first person that I've had on the show that has an expertise. I mean, we all kind of know a little bit about astrology. I'm like, I dabble, but I think you're the first person that we've had on that has an expertise in astrology. And I love that the cards of destiny blend in that astrology element with these playing cards. So it's like this kind of a little bit of a mashup, huh?
It is. It's a total synthesis. And I find that all the different modalities, astrology and numerology and cards of destiny and tarot, they all sort of talk to one another. There's resonances. There's things that show up in all the different areas. So it's really fascinating to see how someone's chart and things that I see in their chart when we're talking about their chart also show up in their numerology. Like, for example, if they have that mystic's rectangle in their chart, they might also be an 11, which is a master number and avatar energy. It's got, a lot of mystic resonance to it. So it's really interesting to see how they all line up, or they all speak to one another.
I forgot that a bazillion years ago at my shop in Santa Monica, you taught a numerology class.
Yes, that's how we kind of started together. Yes, forever ago. I loved that. That was wonderful.
I forgot about that. That was how I always knew about numerology, but I think I had myself a block about it because I'm like, ugh, math. That's what I thought, I'm like, ugh, numbers.
I only go 1 through 9 though. 1 through 9 is it.
It's not math. It's not math. But I think there was that kind of panic that I'm like, it's something mathy. And when you taught that numerology class, it changed my life. It became so accessible. And it became a huge part of my life and my understanding. And
awesome.
And I learned how to do your soul number and all of that stuff. And now I really incorporate that in my tarot practice. I use it's become a real part of my tarot practice. I won't say I'm a numerologist. I'm not, but and I see how numbers are and numerology and that. So in a little way, I'm doing that synthesis that you do so beautifully with so many things. You're that polymath person that can, blend tarot and astrology and numerology and all these things together. So
I just think they're all similar languages. And I love how they just, I don't know. I think it's all information at the end of the day, and it's all interesting.
So if you guys have questions about numerology, I mean, this is something I think is such a fascinating topic. Numerology, astrology, divination, any of that stuff. This is your chance, you guys, to ask these questions because we've got here a real expert on this. So think about those questions and about things like numerology and astrology and compatibility of signs, or how do you overcome stuff like that. I think for me, for example, one of the ways that I use numerology, and I have a question for you, Gwendolyn, before anybody starts with their questions, is when we see repeating numbers, what is your thought about that whole thing with repeating numbers, which is such a popular topic, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately everything's energy, right? And everything has a name. Everything has something that when we say the word cat, we all have an image of the word cat. So I think that the repeating numbers are similar. They've got a charge, they've got a vibe, they've got a resonance to them. And I think what's interesting is that when you start getting people who associate meanings with those things and everyone starts agreeing on what they mean, they start to take on, just like when we say cat, everyone may see cat differently, but we all kind of have a common element of agreement of what they mean. So a lot of people are doing the 1111, you know, as like twin flame stuff, the angelic numbers. I think it's an amplification of each of those numbers. So like when you're seeing 1111, it's saying, you know, new things are starting. This is information coming down from the Akashic records. It's basically, I see the repeating numbers as amplifications of the base number. So again, 222 is like a strong thing that's talking about cooperation, duality, relationship, service, how you show up for things. So it's, I think I read each of them differently, but when I see the repeat, I do see like the 444 is like you're on track, things are in order, things, you know, like ducks in a row. So each of them have their own vibration. 555, big changes ahead, tower moment, you know, here's what's coming. So
yeah, I think, you know, for me, like one of the ways that I have really seen that like repeating number thing work is that if you are not into numerology or you don't know anything about numerology, you can look at repeating numbers. And if you see, like, I don't think there are many people, maybe this is just my own observation, but when you have, they go in cycles. Like there'll be times in your life where you're seeing them all the time. And then times when it seems quieter, right? It's not like you all see them all the time, right?
Right.
So when those numbers are really popping up for you a lot, I look at that, because I'm a spiritualist, I look at that as that time when your guides are like, hello, 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 pay attention. And even if you know nothing about numerology, you can see, what was I doing or what was I thinking about when that number popped up, whatever number it is, right? And if you pay attention to whatever you were working on, whatever you were thinking about, it's a sign from your guides, like about that topic. Now, if you know and can learn a little bit about numerology, you can then apply that understanding of that number and what it means to the thing that you're working about. And you'll get a more specific message from your guides about that topic, right? So for example, let's say I'm working on a project and it's 2:22 and I see it on the clock and I know, okay, first that's a message from my guides. Good job on your project, right? But if I'm seeing 2:22, that message, I can then interpret that as like, oh, partnership. Maybe you need to bring someone else into this project or partner with someone or bring other people in so that you can understand that a little bit more than if you are, you know, get a little more nuanced interpretation of what that message is from your guides.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, for example, for me, one of my personal numbers is 316 because I'm born March 16th. So whenever I see 316, I'm like, that's for me. That's got my little name on it. It's got my date on it. So it's sort of like a confirmation, like 316. Oh yes, that corresponds to me in some way or another.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I think that's something to think about too. Like people don't think about their own personal numbers, like their soul number or their birthday or things like that, that they can see those things. You know who else notices his birthday? My boyfriend always sees his birthday everywhere. I never, my birthday's 7/5. It's not really at 7:05, 07:05. It's not really an exciting number like yours is, you know, where it's like a, you know.
7/5's pretty cool.
But then you're just looking at 7/5.
So
But anyway, so now tell us a little bit about, you're going to do today, this is very exciting. Gwendolyn is going to do a reading for anybody, a 1-card reading for anybody that wants to have a reading. So let's start getting if you would like to be one of the person that gets a 1-card reading from her today, Gwendolyn, what is your favorite emoji?
Favorite emoji? I like the triple sparkle stars, the little glitter
stars.
Okay. Yeah, the triple stars.
The sparkles. I call those the sparkles. If you want to put the sparkle emoji, or the word sparkle or glitter. We'll call it glitter because you said glitter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Put the word glitter or the glitter emoji in, and you'll be in as we get down to, I see there's already people going glitter, glitter, glitter.
I can also do numerology ones. If they want to do, instead of a tarot card, I can do a personality or life path number if they want to type in their birth, like.
Are you gonna figure that out on the fly, their number?
Yeah, I can do that easily. Let's just stick with personality numbers because that won't work in their year. So if they prefer a personality number analysis, we can do that too.
And that is what?
That is, personality number is sort of the correspondence in astrology of your rising sign. It's how you greet the world. It's how the world perceives you. It's how you interact with others.
So how do you, is it the day and the month or what is it?
Day.
Okay. Yeah. So put your month and day in there and you will get the personality. What is it again?
Yep. Or just you can just put your whole birth date. We could do personality number and life path number. I mean,
my gosh.
It's easy. It's really, yeah, I find it interesting, but.
You know what? It's math. That's where you get me all freaked out because it's math.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can do
no, you can do, no, you can do it. Just don't ask me to do it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Don't ask me to do any math. This is a great opportunity because you are never going to get this from me, you guys. So Gwendolyn's going to do your math for you. Put your birthday, month, day, and year, right? Yeah. And then you'll do their numbers and at the end of our time today. So questions about, and if you do glitter, we'll just do that. We'll just do the number thing. You want to just do the number numerology thing?
Well,
I think that's.
I'm open to doing both. I have my cards here. Since I just added that on, I might just get a little sketch pad so I can like actually write the numbers down. But we can get to that when we get to that.
Okay, great. All right. So we got some people just saying glitter, and we have some people giving birthdays. Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
All of it.
Okay. So, and people are saying both. I want both.
Glitter and
the. All right. So we have some questions that are like magic questions. I want you guys to come up with some divination questions and some numerology questions and astrology questions because, you know, although a magic question is great, you can get a magic question answered from me anytime. You cannot get a numerology question from me anytime. You cannot get an astrology question from me anytime. So this is your opportunity. You need to get in here. So let's answer these questions and then you guys get some of these questions. So let me ask you a question, Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Gwendolyn's going to have a special offer for you guys at the end of the show. She's going to give you a special offer, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. So hang on for that. So have you ever burned a candle for something magical? Have you ever done that?
I have done that. I have done the pink kitty come to me candle.
Oh.
Yeah.
The come to me candle from the kitty goes out and fetches, the kitty spirit goes out and fetches what you want.
Yes.
Well, we have a question about vigil candles, which are the candles that are behind me here. Someone is asking the question, iPhone is asking the question, what makes a vigil candle turn black once it's burning and once it's done burning? As in the glass is black when the candle's finished burning, it had rings all over the glass. That's soot on the candle. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I don't have too many sooty candles going right now. This one's a little.
I love that setup. It's so wonderful.
That one's a little.
Like being in church.
Yeah, it is like being in church. That one back there is a little bit sooty, but it can get really, really black. So let's talk about soot on a candle. Soot on a candle represents spiritual blockages. So any kind of smoke represents the spirit world, and any kind of wax represents the material world. So when we're looking at a candle that is, Gwendolyn's bored, she's taken off. When you're looking at a candle, when you're looking at a candle that has,
listening.
You're listening.
I'm just getting numerology stuff.
Okay. When you see soot on a candle, it means there are spiritual blockages of some kind. So if it's very, very heavy soot, that means heavy spiritual blockages. And how far down it goes down the candle is how much you're going to have to overcome to get over it. So like you might have to do some cleansing work. You might have to do some spiritual work to cut ties, but it's all spiritual work when we're seeing the issue of smoke in the candle. So that's called capnomancy, is smoke reading. And that's what we do when we have a vigil candle. We look to see most of the candles here are burning great. If it's burning clear, that means that the candle's doing its work, all is well. If it doesn't mean that the candle isn't doing its work. If we see sort of smoke, it just means that you've got some spiritual blockages that you're dealing with, and you may have to do some additional work to clear out those blockages. It can be burning a candle for clearing, like an energetic purification candle. It can mean doing a cleansing or something like that. And if you burn a candle and, here's my advice. If you burn a candle and it turns black, try another candle and see what happens. If it's still burning black, get a reading and see what's going on, or get advice from someone about what to do. But a cleansing is a good idea. All right. Nina's asking, thanks again for the reading on Saturday. You're welcome, Nina. What would you recommend for helping a family member get out of an emotionally abusive relationship with a narcissist? She wants to leave but feels stuck. She agreed to let me do spell work for her. I hope this is the correct place to ask the question. Yes, so I can speak to that in general. You might want to, she or you might want to have a reading about it, because to get a very specific advice for a very specific person, a reading can be helpful. And especially if it's a complicated situation, because we can see things in a reading that would underlie like what's underlying and what work needs to get done. But in general, if we're looking at a general sort of like, how does someone get unstuck? There's two paths to getting unstuck. One is open roads or road opener work. That's the kind of like pushing something aside. If there seems to be some kind of, stuck energy, that opens the path for some movement to happen. But if we're really having a very hard thing, like we're trying to get out and we're pushing against and not having any success in pushing down those barriers, then a blockbuster is what you need. So it's a bit stronger. It's a bit more explosive. It can sometimes create situations like you have to clean up a mess after you do blockbuster, but if you can't get through any other way, then a blockbuster is what you need to do. So open roads candle or blockbuster work would be the simple answer to that. But if it's a complicated situation, you probably want to get a reading for that. All right. So iPhone says, let's say someone pays you to do a return to me spell, pays me, I suppose, with a vigil candle, and the glass turns bad when it's done burning. Is that a bad sign? We just talked about that. So that is a sign that there's some cleansing, some spiritual work that needs to be cleaned up. That's all that means. I wouldn't, fret about it. If it's real heavy black smoke, you might have to do a cleanse or do a cleansing candle. All right. Let's see. Questions about numerology, you guys, and astrology.
That's okay. I'm learning lots here too. Ask what you're interested in, because I'm learning.
We got one. Is the year 2020 magically significant? Gwendolyn, what would you say about 2020? That's a great one for everybody to know.
2020, because it's so much in our knowledge base as hindsight. It's a year of looking back. You know how they say 2020 is hindsight is 2020. You see things clearly when you look back. This year is a year of revelation and seeing things clearly. If you think about 2020 vision, it's about seeing through nonsense, seeing through bullshit that's not for us, and also hindsight into what served us before and what hasn't served us. So as we enter this year with those major eclipses, it's like a big wiping the slate clean and seeing things clearly. We're at a place where we're seeing things a lot more clearly. We're being able to be more honest with ourselves and therefore honest with others. So I see it personally as getting out of Seven of Cups energy, Neptunian fog. That's clearing away, and it's like clear vision. So 2020 is how I read that. It's a 4 number as you reduce it down. So that's a building year. That's also a formalization year, which has to do with separating boundaries. 4s are all about structure, foundation. Is it black? Is it white? Who's in? Who's out? Is it up or is it down? It's really like a separating and clarifying year. So that's how I read 2020.
Do you in general like look at a year and just the year number and look at the character of that year? Does it have any significance, like that this is a 4-year? Because when we say it's a 4-year, it's for the people that don't know. It's because it's 2020.
Right.
We add the 2 and the 2 together, and we come up with a number 4, and then that makes it a 4-year. So
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it's also 22 master builder number. I look at the year number as pretty general. I'm more interested in people's personal year, like the workshop that we did at Parlor of Wonders, where I'm interested in seeing what's that person's personal year. So each year, each person will have a personal year. So I'm usually more interested in what does that year mean for them, which will figure in their personality number along with their year of birth, and that will tell us about their personal year. So for example, use 7/5/2020, you're going to be, you're a 3 personality. And then for 2020, this is going to be a spiritual year for you. You're going from a 6 year, which is all about love and order and peace and relationships and community, to a 7. So you're on your birthday this year, 7/5. This year is going to be a year of transition into your 7 year. So that's like going from peace, harmony, community to you're taking on something to go up to the next level. But collectively, it's a year of, vision and hindsight and seeing things clearly.
It's so fascinating. I mean, you can get so very deep into this and looking at like the personal year. Like my birth number is 5, which I also relate.
Yeah, that's your life path. Yes.
Yeah, my life path number is 5, which I relate to the tarot, and the 5 is the Hierophant, which is the teacher of traditional wisdom.
Yes.
And that's what I do. I love to teach you guys, and I love to teach you everything that I dig up from. Oh, it's so much fun. I dig up and I find things, and then I can't wait to teach you and show you this. So I think of that, and then you take that number and then you juxtapose it against the number of the year for you personally, which would be for me 7/5/2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how those two numbers like work against each other or work with each other. There's that whole other element too, which is fascinating. So interesting. All right. So let's see what else we've got here. What's a good, powerful uncrossing and protection spell? There's a lot of powerful uncrossing and protection spells. It depends on what the situation is. If you've got uncrossing, you can do energetic purification for clearing off anything negative, and a powerful protection candle. That's a great thing. You could do a bath and then put protection oil on yourself. There's a million things that you can do for uncrossing and protection, but depends on if you want to do it on yourself, you want to do candle work, or whatever you want to do. All right, what else do we have? Tracy, have you ever had wax rings on the outside of the candle jar after or while burning a candle? Weird things like that happen once in a while. Wax always indicates that there's material world stuff. So if it's rings to me mean symbolize like that there's kind of a ring, like almost like it's like 8 of Swords energy. What's 8 of Swords energy, Gwendolyn?
Feeling stuck, feeling powerless, feeling like trapped and captive.
Who made you trapped and captive when we see an 8 of Swords?
Only your own mind. There.
Yeah, so 8 of Swords energy, if you know the 8 of Swords, it's the card where the woman's standing with her, she's wrapped up and she's kind of standing there blindfolded, and she's got these swords on her right and her left. But if she would take off her blindfold, she could see, I don't even have the swords all the way around me. There's a little puddle. Maybe I could get out of here. But she believes herself to be trapped. So it's kind of like the elephant that has the little string that when it was little, the string kept it. But now that it's a big elephant, it still thinks it's trapped. So it's the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that you have. So anytime we see rings, I see rings as limiting beliefs. If there's smoke rings, like soot rings, do we have anyone? I don't see nothing going on right now with smoke, with soot rings. If we see soot rings, it means you're like, your beliefs and your mind is trapping you. If I see wax rings, there's probably something externally that you've created that could be trapping you. So things like that could be things like sometimes accumulation of stuff. Like I'm a hoarder, and I've hoarded so much stuff that now I feel overwhelmed by it and I feel trapped by it. I can't go out of my house, or I can't do this. Or weight can be another thing. Oh, I feel so unhappy about my weight. I can't go out. I can't find a lover. That's a material world thing that has now trapped you, that you have the power to break out of, you know, but it does take effort. You know what I mean? Those things are not easy to overcome, but they can be overcome. So I would, you know, depending on what the situation is with the candle that you're burning, you know, that would be whatever the topic is about the candle. Or, you know, like maybe even job situations. I'm in a job that I hate, but I have to stay here because I have to make, you know, I have to pay my rent. Well, that's also keeping you trapped because you're not thinking bigger. Let's see, we've got a question about, someone can ask, will normal love herbs work for an LGBTQ love spell? Absolutely. There's no normal, abnormal. It's all love. Love is love, right? So all love herbs work. Nina Martin says, do you believe, this is a Gwendolyn question, do you believe that certain signs are incompatible, or can any sign be together?
Good, great question. Each sign has a different dynamic. So basically, whatever sign you are, you're going to have a different dynamic with every other sign of the zodiac. For example, if you're a sun sign Pisces, you are going to amplify all of the positive and negative traits of the other Pisces. If you are with a sign that is right after you or right before you, you are a teacher to the sign that is before you, and you are the student to the sign that's after you. So Pisces, for example, Aries would be your teacher and Aquarius would be your student. 2 signs away, it's a friendship vibe usually, which can also lend to romantic relationships. It helps feed it. 4 signs away is dynamic tension. So you will be like oil and water. So for example, like Pisces and Gemini, anytime it's square in astrology, 90 degrees away. And so 4 signs away, it's like a natural friction where if you sit in a room, you're going to have friction. But if you align in a common goal, it'll be double power. I call that one dynamic tension. Traditionally, it's a dynamic of friction, but I like to look at it as like the pulling back of a bow. It creates tension that can be used for something. If you're 5 signs away, which means you're in the same element, like me and Pam are both water signs, you have a common language. Usually that it's called trine in astrology, and it usually means that there is a natural affinity. There's a natural, we will understand each other emotionally because that's the language that we use. Air signs will understand each other mentally because that's the language that they operate in. You know, fire signs will have that passionate, active side to them, and the earth signs have that grounded, practical, stable side. So it's a common understanding. And I mean, there's further, you know, there's the 6-8 relationship, which is mystery and service. There's many more that I can go on to, which I can talk to for anyone who's interested, but you'll have a different relationship with each sign that'll have strengths and weaknesses and challenges and places of easiness in all of them.
It's fascinating because I've noticed that, like, for example, you would think that 2 people of the same sign, that they would be like 2 dolphins swimming together. Sometimes they are, but sometimes those 2 people of the same sign, it's like too much alike. It's like you're dealing with the same, it's too same, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, people, the extension of that is people who choose people who have the same birthday, and that's called a mirror relationship. And what that is when someone chooses someone with the same birthday, it's about self-love, them cultivating self-love, because literally it's a mirror, and that person is going to show them everything they hate about themselves as well as everything they love about themselves. So it is really, it's an interesting choice.
I once dated a guy that had the same birthday as me, and I love him like a brother now, but oh Lordy, that relationship was really tough. It was really tough. It was, you know, for me as a Cancer, I'm a Cancer, as a water sign, it was kind of like, I'm the emotional one. No, I'm the emotional one. No, right. you take care of my emotions. No, you take care of my emotions.
Play that role. Yeah.
So it was really a tough, you would think, but I love, to this day, I love him like so much as a brother, but boy, as a relationship, it was no bueno. That one
Yeah.
was not a good one. Have you ever dated somebody the same birthday?
No, I haven't. I've known people who have the same birthday, and I've had friendships with people, but I haven't ever,
Yeah, it's so it's so fascinating. When you said that, I was like, oh, like hashtag me.
Interesting. It's an interesting choice,
Yeah. Well, it was a time in my life when I needed self-love, and I think, if I look back at it, that observation that you said, like I needed to understand and empower myself, and that was a way to do that. So
Yeah, you found someone who, and he got that from you too, certainly.
Yeah. He still calls me when he's having a problem and wants to talk. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that every day. I hope he's not watching this. I don't think he would, but so anyway, so let's see. Let's see. Going down the questions. Let's see. Oh, I never really noticed the smoke from my candles because I'm always in the dark doing them. But last one I burned, the smoke coming off the top. But I'm like, you don't see the glass? No, you're talking about the smoke from the top. But the last one I burned, the flame was very high and large and then went low down and split in two down below when it got closer to the end of the candle, and then melded back into one after I anointed it with oil and herbs. What does it mean when it changes into two flames? We have to talk about a whole other thing about candles. I love all your candle questions, you guys. First thing you look at when you're burning a candle is there a physical reason why this is happening? So not everything is magical. Like if this is the one that drives me bananas. There's a lot of beautiful, amazing candles on Etsy that are like piled high with herbs. I mean, it's like half wax and half these gorgeous herbs, and they're beautifully decorated and gorgeous and amazing. And there's little plastic deer running around on it, and there's a crystal in it, and there's a this and a that. When you burn those candles down to the bottom, you're going to have a whole pile of herbs that are going to catch fire, create a big fire hazard, and then you go, oh, Madame Pamita, my candle was burning out of control. Is that a sign? I'm like, yeah, it's a sign that the candle maker was making a beautiful candle that really wasn't meant to be burned and definitely wasn't meant to be interpreted. So sometimes that smoky candle can come from putting too many adulterants into your candle. So it can be herbs, it can be oils, it can be, paper, petition papers, all kinds of stuff that you put into that candle. And if it catches on fire and makes a bunch of smoke, it's going to make a smoky candle. So the very first thing with any candle is you have to rule out that the thing is happening because of some material world issue. So that's the first thing. So if you have all this stuff that's going on with your candle, the splitting in two could be a piece of an herb or a piece of wick that's separated and the two wicks are burning. That isn't an uncommon thing. It can happen. But if you are looking at a split that is happening for some other reason, then you can look at that as a sign. So any kind of thing that's going on with your candle, the first thing you want to look at is this because of something that's in the candle? Flame splitting, it's an interpretation that depends on what the candle was about. Is the candle about getting a job? If I saw a flame splitting in two, it would tell me two jobs. You need to have two jobs, or you have a job and a side job, and then you'll bring them back together and you'll go back to one job. If it's a relationship, it's a flame splitting would be you're going to separate and then you're going to come back together again. So it depends on what the candle is to interpret that. I've got a great guide, everyone. If you want to know how to read candles or how to interpret candles, first of all, my book is coming out. That's going to be out in October. It has whole chapters on how to read candles, both how to read the smoke, how to read the flames, how to read the wax, et cetera, et cetera. You've got a ton of resources in that book. But if you want a quick guide to that, if you go onto my site, Parlor of Wonders, and you go to parlorwonders.com, go to instruction. Under instruction, you'll see how-to guides. There's a candle how-to guide that tells you how to burn a candle for a spell. And it also tells you a little bit about interpreting the candle and what you're looking at so that you kind of get an idea of what that is about. But yeah, I've got whole chapters about all of that stuff in the new book, which I'm very excited is coming out in October. And if you haven't seen the cover is beautiful. I didn't do the cover. An artist did the cover. But you can see it on my Instagram. So if you go to Madame Pamita, Instagram.com/Madame Pamita, you can go back a couple pages, couple photos, and you'll see the book cover and it looks amazing. Angela has a question for you, Gwendolyn.
All right.
What do you have a book recommendation to learn numerology, which is a question I remember asking you when you taught the class.
Gosh, I don't have any one particular book. I mean, I've had several of them, but honestly, I would say I go back to like the Greek stuff, and I would just say, see if you can find,
when are you going to teach a numerology class is the question.
it's funny. I almost did a numerology workshop here in New York recently. I've just been working on that tarot deck, so I haven't done it, but I'm thinking about bringing those back. Yeah, I could do that. I should do one online. That's what I need to do next. They've all been in person. I did them in Southern California and Northern California, but I've never done one online, so I should really consider doing that.
Oh my gosh, I think there's a huge need for that. I think people will be so into it. I'd love to refer.
I will do that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I would say, really, honestly, probably online is the best resource to read. If you just Google, if you calculate, I have videos on my YouTube channel about how to calculate your personality number or life path number. But if you go online and just say 2 life path number or 4 personality number, there are troves of information about it. And as you get to know the numbers, even in dealing with tarot, you get to know the flavor and the personality of the numbers themselves. And then it just starts to be a language that you use like anything else. You get to know them as sort of entities unto themselves. Kind of I
have a little handy guide. It's not a complete thing on numerology, but I have a little handy guide up on, if you go into my blog, so go to my site, go to instruction, go to magic blog, you'll see there's an article I wrote called "What Does It Mean When I See 1111?" And it talks about what we were talking about at the beginning, which is like when those numbers come up. But at the end, there's a little handy chart that has the breakdown of what each number represents. And so that when you see those numbers repeating, if you see 333, what does a 3 mean? You can look at that chart and see. And I think that might be a nice, gentle way to start. But there's definitely information. And Gwendolyn goes far, far deeper when she teaches her class and how to find your own number and so on. So let's see. One more question. Nina asked the question. Well, maybe we'll get to 2. Nina asked the question, what if your partner is a cusp, for example, Sag and Cancer Leo?
Great question. Usually what I say about cusp people is that they've got 1 foot in each sign. So, for example,
explain to them what a cusp is, because they may not know.
Sure. A cusp is the time when it's changing from one sign to another. And it usually is about a 3 to 4, some people say it's larger, some people say it's smaller, but I usually land on 3 to 4 day spread. So the last, say, 2 days of Pisces overlapping with the first 2 days of Aries, that would be considered the Pisces Aries cusp, or like the last 2 days of Cancer into the first 2 days of Leo, that's the Cancer Leo cusp. So there are people who are born on those days, and they'll actually take on the qualities of both signs. Like someone in my family, my father is right on the Virgo Libra cusp. So I consider him as half Virgo and half Libra. Sometimes he'll show up as a Libra, sometimes he'll show up as a Virgo. So if you're a person dealing with a partner who's a cusp, basically you will have sort of half the relationship of, let's just say for simplicity's sake, you're Pisces dealing, or you can, if this person wants to
they're a Sag dealing with a Cancer Leo.
Sag dealing with Cancer Leo. Okay, so the Leo, half of it is that because you're Sag and Leo, you're both fire signs. So there's going to be a way in which you have that natural common language of fire. That's a trine that's very harmonious, that promotes like activity, passion. You can also sometimes get raging fires. So that gives a lot of energy and vitality to the dynamic. And then the Cancer, Sag Cancer is going to be, let me see where this, I just got to draw out a quick circle to see. Cancer, Leo, Sag, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Sag.
Scorpio.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting this. I can do it. I just need to look at this. I just need to look at the chart to count it out. Sag is here. So bear with me. So I'm just going to take this. The 5 is easy for me to see, but the other one I've got to count out. So Aries, Cancer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 6. This one is the interesting part. The Cancer is going to be in the 8th house of mystery to the Sag, and the Sag is going to be in the 6th house of service to the Cancer. If we're looking at that half of the person who's the Cancer Leo, the person who's in the 8th house is the house of mystery. And this is going to be someone who the Sag is never going to be able to figure out. So there's an air of intrigue, there's an air of mystery, and the Cancer, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and the Sag is going to be in the placement of service to that Cancer. So I've seen, this is called inconjunct in astrology. And it's 6 signs away from one and 8 signs away from the other one. And I've seen marriages that have lasted for like 25 years because that level of mystery and intrigue, it's sort of that Scorpio placement. If you think about the 8th house, it always lends an air of mystery, intrigue, fascination. I'm never going to figure out. They're like the puzzle or the onion that you never unfold. And the Sag is going to be in a place of, I want to serve you, I want to help you, I want to provide you with opportunities. It's going to feel very good to give to that other person. And the other person is going to be like this cipher or this thing that is always compelling and mysterious. So you've got half of this wonderful commonality in the fiery side of things, but then half of this wildly different. I personally think it's a very exciting matchup because you've got those 2 different things going on. You just have to be careful about not too much fire. The Sag Leos can like burn each other with their fire. So no raging. You can have big blow-ups, but the Cancer side of the Cancer Leo brings a little water to temper that down.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something from my experience of dealing with clients, because I do find out people's sun sign, especially when we're dealing with couples energy. I like to know. We're water signs, girl. We want an easygoing, smooth, harmonious relationship. Fire signs like the roller coaster ride.
Oh, they do. No, they love it. That's why they're fire. I mean, fire signs are some of the most passionate. You know, they're the ones who have these raging arguments and then have wonderful makeup sex. I mean, it's just like the fire is what it's about. I'm just saying it's got to be constructive fire, not destructive fire.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. You just don't want to get into mean fights. You can get into fights. You can disagree. I always think of like, you know, like the stereotype of like the Italians throwing dishes at each other and then passionately having sex afterwards.
Yeah.
So, all right. One more question and then we'll get to those readings. What is the difference? Okay. So Chris has a question. What differences are there in birth date number and name number in numerology?
Yes,
so that's a great question. So you're going to have to explain to people what he means and then what the differences are.
Sure.
So.
Basically, it's two different systems for calculating numbers. I personally only deal with the number calculations one. I don't really do so much with the name stuff, but it's just as valid of a system. It's just 2 different roads to get to the same place. So some people basically in the number system assigned to letters of the alphabet. So A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, and all the letters of your name have numerical correspondences, and people calculate different numbers. I think it's like soul number, destiny number. This is the system I don't really use, so I don't have that knowledge base there, but there's ways to, it's equally valid and also very interesting. So names or numbers, I mostly just deal with the numbers, but there are different ways of assigning meaning that you can look into.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things.
They're both relevant.
I think it's probably something that if someone were learning, like Chris, if you're learning about numerology, you could try both and see which one you jive with, which one feels more right to you.
Exactly.
Like
which one speaks to you.
Yeah. So it's like, I think with everything, it's just try it and, you know, learn a little bit about it enough so that you can start dabbling and you'll find which one you groove with, or maybe you're like Gwendolyn and get, 20 different systems going and you blend everything together like you do.
What's funny is when I did for me personally, when I did my birth date and my name, it came out to the same number. I don't think that always happens, but I think it's fun and interesting to look at where things show up, because it's all of these things are a part of ourselves. If we look at our birth tarot card, or our personality number, or life path number, all these things are relevant to us. So it's just different. What kind of information do you want?
Perfect. All right, let's do those readings. Do you want me to, how do you want to do this? So you guys
read the person's question or their name, and I can pull a card for them. And then if they want to read their birth date, they can say it. You can say it. And
so I'm going to say their name, and do you want to just do like all the numerology ones first, and then we'll go to the cards? That will maybe be a little bit easier.
Sure.
Okay. So the numerology, the first one is Amanda, who is 5'1".
5'1". Okay, so you're a 6 personality. And what that means is that you greet the world as someone who's like a steady Freddy, someone who's reliable. 6 is a love vibration. And if you think about the beehive, it's got that hexagonal shape in the beeswax. It means that you are dedicated to community. Like, you could work with friends and family. You're usually a reliable person. We see a lot of like nurses or people in the law or police forces in 6s, or people who work in like family businesses. 6 is usually just what I call the steady Freddies, reliable, love. They're like, if you think about the bee worker in the beehive, that's usually the 6 personality.
Okay, we have 3. This is Jasmine in 3/1/1995.
3/1/1995. Okay, so 6. You are a 4 personality, and then you're a 1 life path. So you're a very stable person. You would be able to work well on your own. The 1 life path gives you a lot of entrepreneurship. 1 life path can feel like a lone wolf sometimes, but it also gives you that one-of-a-kind originality, working by yourself or for yourself. Like, sometimes I see artists in this case, like if you were a 3/1, that's like that one-of-a-kind energy, innovative, inventive. It's magician energy, right? So the 4 personality is very organized, it's the builder energy that we were talking about earlier, that 4. So someone who, for example, I'm seeing you could own your own construction company, or you could work as a realtor with the 4 walls energy. Own your own gallery, for example, would be 4/1 energy. The 4 is the building, the structure, the foundation, the logic, the order. And then the 1 is the one of a kind, the innovation, working for yourself. So I really see with 4/1s, something innovative and unique is a real 1 number, one of a kind. And then the 4 is the building. So real estate, gallery, think of the 4 walls, that kind of stuff.
Anna.
Anything to do with building.
Okay, Anna.
You can even just build
we've got like 15 more people. We've got like 15 people we've got to do. So I'm going to rush you along.
I mean, just tell me if I'm going too long with this one. I could just go forever on each one.
I know. So I'm going to keep you on track. So, okay, Anna is 7/10/1983.
7/10/1983. Okay, so Anna, you're an 8 personality. That is the person who is like the bank manager. It has to do with wealth and success. And like the 4, it's a double 4. So it's organized, but it usually has to do with organizing of groups. So 8 personality usually is success with the group. Someone who, I usually use the 8 as like the coach, someone who can stand in front of a room and talk to lots of people. So that is, it's good for teaching. It's good for success. It's good for money management. We usually see 8s as dealing with something having to do with the tangible. It's got Capricorn associations to it. And then you are an 11 master number, life path number. So that is the avatar energy. That is high priestess energy. That is the mystic energy. You have this ability to pull down information from the Akashic records and say things whether people believe you or not, or whether that people are ready for you to say that or not. But you often are able to notice things that are not apparent in the forefront. You see things from a Akashic access point. So you would actually be good at lecturing, for example, about things that have to do with truth or spirituality. You would do very well with groups, anything that has to do with managing a group, success with the group. But in terms of service, because the 11 boils down to a 2, you would help other people by speaking about these kind of things. I hope that's not too esoteric and weird.
No, I like these. Okay. I'm gonna rush you along because we got a lot.
Yes,
Jane is 9/20/1980.
9/20/1980. Okay, so wow, double 11, 11 person. This person should be a like a mystical consultant of some kind. I'm actually getting for you. Jane? What's the name? Jane?
Yeah.
You should do remote viewing if you're interested in that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Or some kind of, I'm actually getting like goosebumps as I'm talking about this, because 1111s, basically they have super sensitive antenna. They can tell when someone's like, they see truth on an incredible level. It's basically like you may not be able to shut out.
Jane says, what's remote viewing?
Okay. Remote viewing is something where you tune into the energy of something else. Like, for example, law enforcement sometimes use remote viewers to find out about like criminals or cases that have happened, or you can tap into and you can get information about things that aren't around you, that are in remote areas.
What's that
movie? You have
movie?
very sensitive.
What's that movie that came out? Men who see goats, or men who. There was a movie that came out like 5 years ago, with George Clooney.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about? It was like
interesting. I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, it was about remote viewing. So if you look up remote viewing on Google, you'll find a ton of information about it. All right, we got a lot of people, so I'm going to rush you along. Amanda is 5174.
5174. Also, what I should mention too with this is that when you're writing out your life path, you always want to do the full
1974.
So like 5174, make sure you also write out the 19. That's going to affect things. So you are a 6. Yeah, thank you. Just a 6 personality, just like our previous guests. So reliable, love-based, community-based, working with friends and family, or however you define your tight-knit community, that's where your center is. That's what's important to you on a personality level. You can usually be counted on to be reliable. And then the 1974 is 843. You're a 9. 9s are the diplomats. They are the conflict resolution people. They are the peace lovers. They're the bridge builders. So as a 9, life path wise, you want to create bridges and bonds between people who speak different languages, people who are coming from different places. The 9 is the bridge that can create peace between the two of them. Usually we see 9s working with animals. We see 9s being very good with children, working for communities that have high ideals. It's a real humanity-based idealism number. And so this is a really soft, beautiful energy, the 6-9. You really want to help your community, and in a grander way too, your immediate community as well as the larger community at whole. I'd be curious to see what sun sign that person is, but anyway.
She can type it in.
Yeah.
Nina is 12/01/1986.
12/1/1986. Okay, so we've got a 4 personality, another builder here, and then 8, 9, 9, a 6, 6. Okay, so we've got a 4-3. Now this is someone who's a builder in their personality, can be orderly, structured, but who this person really is on their life path is the creative, the expressive. The 3 life path really needs to do something that has to do with their throat chakra in order to feel fulfilled. So the 3s are the dancers, the writers, the poets, the DJs, anything that has to do with that Gemini energy of expressing information. And 4 tells me that you might do it in a rigid or a more formalized way. So 4 has to do with, people might not realize how creative you are or how expressive you can potentially be because your 4 personality, which shows up as more like logical, more analytical, and then the 3 is you have a nice balance between right brain and left brain. Your personality is more left brain, more logical, analytical, and your core of who you are is actually more right brain, expressive.
All right, Sue is 10/16/1970.
10/16/1970. Okay, so another 8 personality. That's the manager. That's the person who does well with the groups. It has to do with wealth and organization. Again, the coach, someone who can share things with groups. And then 8. Let's see. 8 is 16. We've got an 8/7. Okay, now this is interesting. The 7 hasn't come up yet. 7 life path. This is a very spiritual person. 7 is the person who's interested in truth with a capital T. This corresponds to actually hermit energy, even though they sometimes appear like they are wallflowers. They're actually very attuned to the spiritual world. So even though this person has a 8 personality, does really well with the group, who they are internally is they're really connected to what's above. They're really connected with the truth. So I get with an 8/7, they can do well in society. They can actually usually achieve prominence in their job or whatever field they're in. But what they're really about is connecting with the spiritual world. So the 7s are really interested in truth.
This is Goddess Julie Yvonne. She is 3/18/1971.
3/18/1971. Okay, so this is, we've got a 3 personality. So very social, very creative, potential to be very expressive. Against this is that dancers, dreamers, writers, creative, expressive. And then the 1971, that's your personality. That's how you greet the world. I actually get the sense with this person too, really good socially. Like you can attend parties. You have no problem with interacting with your neighbors, or 3 is a very social number. And then 3, 9, yeah, double 3. So you really should do something in the creative field. You should do something that has to do with expression, whether it's painting or writing or speaking or anything that engages that Gemini throat chakra.
Okay, Trezi is 9/23/1960.
9/23/1960. Okay, that's a 5 personality. 5s are the trailblazers.
Woo!
Yes.
Go Team 5.
Yeah, they're interested in the horizon and what's beyond it. So this is equivalent to Sagittarius. They want to look at where the barriers and boundaries and walls are and push past them and discover new things and change the world. Usually the responsibility of the 5 is to go out and taste all the flavors of the world and bring back information for everybody else. And so 23, I'm just getting the year here, 7, 5, okay, 3. So you 5 personality, 3 life path. So you would be someone who could do something that really change. Like I get David Bowie. I'd be interested. I got to look up his numbers, but 5s with 3s, you're a lot of fun at a party. 3s are the expressives. 3s are, again, dancers, dreamers, writers, creatives, painters, DJs, all of that. That's your life path. That's what you need to do to feel satisfied and whole. And 5 means you're a trailblazer. You want to change things. You want to like question the norm. You actually would be good at interviewing other people. Okay.
Wonderful. This is Frith, 5/1/1981.
1981. Okay. So 9. So a 6/7. So this is someone who could be very connected with their family, or potentially have completely removed from their family. This is usually a polarizing thing. 6 is that beehive energy, community, service, reliable, steady. And then 7 is that hermit, that truth with the capital T, the guru energy, the spiritualist. So this is someone who could teach something very spiritual, like maybe I'm getting yoga, I don't know why, or something to do with the spiritual world, but in their immediate community. Like they might have something like I'm getting ashram, I don't know why, but that is in the same neighborhood for years and years and years. They're very devoted to bringing like spiritual things with their immediate friends or family or their community. Reliable person.
Okay, Terry, 7/16/1951.
7/16 what?
1951.
51. Okay, 7/16/1951. That's 13, 14. Another 5, personality, trailblazer. And then 7, 5, 3. Yeah, another 5-3. So we should put the 5-3s together. They would be good at organizing that party. 5s and 3s are all about people. So these people could ask questions of other people. They're creative, they're social, they're, again, the writers, the people who contribute their expression to this world. And they're interested in not just what exists, but like what else is possible.
All right. Muscle Mojo Witch is 2/12/1976.
2/12/1976. All right. We've got 4, 5, another 5. And then I actually happen to know this birthday is a King of Diamonds. You'd be good at running your own business. Let me see this. 9, 13, 14, that's 5.
She does have her own business. I know her.
You got to have your own business. Because the reason I say this is because of your King of Diamonds and you're a one life path. So you do things, you hate to be told what to do. You have to work for yourself. 5, this is a trailblazing personality with a one life path, and they're a King of Diamonds. They have a real entrepreneurial spirit, and you'd really be good about checking what is current and rebelling against it. So
she totally does. I mean, I know her as a client, and I know her from our Instagrams, but from what I can tell, you're spot on with that one.
Right on.
You'll confirm that, Muscle Mojo Witch. All right, Anne is 7/20/1985.
7/20. Sorry, say it again.
7/20/1985.
1985. Okay, so 9 personality. Love my 9s. Those are the conflict resolution people, the people who are, again, usually work really well with animals and children, people who like bring people together. I actually recommend that 9 life paths do something like, are divorce lawyers or people who are diplomats. They bring people together that are on completely different pages. So 9 personality, basically you amplify the energy of anyone else who you interact with when you come across them. And then you've got a 5, you're a 5 life path. So again, that's sort of like the rebel, the person who wants to, you'd actually be really good at traveling, doing something to do with travel and creating peace through travel.
Because a diplomat.
Huh?
A diplomat. Political diplomat.
Wonderful for political diplomat. Absolutely. That kind of thing. Peace building and change and travel and yeah.
It could be even like Peace Corps or something, huh?
Absolutely. Peace Corps would be perfect for this person.
Yeah. All right. Brandy is 6/29/1983. And then we have one more after this, and then I'm going to stop us because we have to go. So
this person's an 8 personality, 11 life paths. So we've got another master number avatar energy. This is a real sensitive person. 8 personality though gives you success with the group. So this person could speak about this person has actually I'm getting journalist for this person, interestingly enough, because they are able to speak the truth to groups of people. 11 is very sensitive. 11 is very much about being in service and getting truth and sharing it with others and benefiting their life. 8 is usually, again, it's bank manager, it's got Capricorn energy, it's an organizer, it's the soccer coach, it's the person who manages groups. But because you're a 211 life path, you have more of a sensitivity. You know, you could even do something like a school counselor where you're sharing information that's very sensitive. You could do well in counseling, is what I get for this person. You could make a lot of money at it.
Muscle Mojo Witch was the one that says rebellion. Who, me? Haha, thanks. Spot on.
Yeah.
See, I knew her. All right. Our last one is Kim, 3/20/1955. And then you're going to tell us about your special deal for everybody. So 3/20/1955, you froze, Gwendolyn. I hope you unfreeze. Oh boy. Has she frozen for all of you guys? She's frozen for me. Yeah, Steven's nodding. Yep, she's frozen. Oh, I guess that's the end of our show. Gwendolyn, she has a special deal. If you email her. Oh, there she is. Oh, wait, there she is. She's back.
Oh, did I skip out for a second?
You were frozen. We were going to close the show down. So.
Oh, no. Okay, am I back?
So 3/20/1955.
Okay, 3/20/1955. This person is way outside of conventional society in the sense that a 5 is a trailblazer, a rebel, wants to ask questions of the world, and the 7 is the spiritualist. So this person's very much connected with the spiritual world, and then also wanting to find new things. So I would say this person's fairly unconventional.
And you got a feedback from Brandy, who was the one just before. Yes. Wow. Yes. I'm an aspiring writer, the journalist, the one who thought it was never considered counseling. Thank you. So it was good feedback there. Yeah. Your numerology, her numerology is amazing. She's an amazing talent. If you want a numerology reading, is that something that you incorporate in the readings that you do?
Yeah.
And they can find you at Readings by Gwendolyn, which I'm going to type into the chat if you want to quick and grab that. And tell them what your special deal is for them.
Yeah, my special deal is everyone who's on the Spell Squad, I'm offering 15% off of my new tarot deck. It's Tarot of Flowers. It's a pretty simplified deck. It's just got flowers on it. And you can find it at tarotofflowers.com. And if you want to purchase it, I'm offering for the Spell Squad 15% off through the rest of January. And if you want to do that, you can just email me at readings, Gwendolyn at, sorry.
It's freezing again.
Gwendolyn
at Readings by, it's Gwendolyn
by Gwendolyn at gmail.com.
Oh,
it's readings by Gwendolyn at gmail.com.
Okay.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm typing it in the thing. So
okay. Readings by Gwendolyn at Gmail.
Okay. So thank you so much, Gwendolyn. You are amazing. I adore you. You are such a special dear
back at you.
To me. And I'm so glad that you were able to join us. We'll definitely have you back again. And maybe we could just do a whole thing where we didn't even get to the tarot readings. If people need to see
we could do that another time. We do all tarot stuff. She's so very, very generous with her information and her time. I mean, you can see how she was as everybody, was there. She didn't just say like 1 or 2 words about you. She really wanted to go in depth, help you, and get that intuitive guidance as you're doing those numerology things. You're like, I'm getting journalist for you. I'm getting, she's really working with intuition as well as this systems that she's working with. So she's such a beautiful and talented soul, and you have to go see her. So I put all the links for her. Grab those now, copy those, and then you can go check her out online. Thank you so much again, Gwendolyn. Thank you guys. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And thank you all of you guys who are here in the Spell Squad. I love and adore you. You guys are so very dear to me, so very special to me. And I love when we get together once a week. It's my highlight of my week. I'll be honest with you. I look forward to every week. We get a great person in here like Gwendolyn. We get all you guys in the room. You help each other out. We all are in this together, right? In our lives, we're all in this together. So thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week. Next week, my guest, I got to get to tell you who my guest is next week, is Lisa Martinez, who is an amazing shamanic curandismo person. That's really I really fouled that up, didn't I? She's definitely a shamanic path
in doing curandismo, and she's got so much information. She comes from Denver. I met her when I was in Denver, and I was so excited to meet her. We're going to have so much fun with her, and you'll have amazing, I mean, she'll have amazing information. I'm going to be learning at that one because I really, that's something that I know very, very little about. So I hope, yes, she's a curandera. Thank you, Chris. I knew there was a word for it, but I couldn't think of it. So we'll see you next Sunday, same time, and you'll be here with me and Lisa, and we'll have an amazing time. Thank you again, Gwendolyn. Thanks to all of you guys, and have a beautiful, beautiful week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye. Bye.